What's up, guys? I'm here in beautiful Big Bear, California. Check out the amazing view from the cabin here. Anyway, I got a bit of time this morning, and why not use it to catch up on a review that I've been meaning to do for a long time.
You finally learned to do what is necessary.
Let's go ahead and explore Batman Begins, along the way delving into one of the worst aspects of the film, in my opinion.
There's light shot! Now you want to get nuts! Come on! Let's get nuts.
Now, don't get me wrong, please. This review is not purely negative. There are plenty of things that Batman Begins does right. Number 1. Batman's origin as a badass Asia-trained ninja. When you look at his skill set and stealth abilities, there's really no other explanation that would have made sense. Seeing Gary Oldman play a good guy is total refreshment, even though in the end his character ended up being a little bit stale, as any character with perfect personality and morality would be.
Your parents' death was not your fault.
Liam Neeson's superbly veiled three-dimensional villain.
It was your father's.
The identity swap was a twist that I completely didn't see coming, but in hindsight, who other than Liam could have provided the cunning, majestic, dangerous aura of Ra's al Ghul?
I will find you. And I will kill you.
And last but not least, Katie Holmes' epic double slap. Pretty much the worst beating Batman's received in a while. And that brings us to the bad parts. Now, obvious plot holes have been done to death, and I'm not going to retread territory that was already well covered by Cinema Sins.
Yet another ridiculously complicated bad guy plan. Let's taint the water supply with poison which has to be inhaled for it to work.
And pitch meeting.
And Rachel's gonna run into this kid that Batman had a moment with earlier on in the film. Oh, what are the odds of that? Well, what are the odds of anything? I don't know.
What I am going to point out are a couple of character flaws.
Don't be afraid.
The altogether benign, godlike father who dies gracefully. Cringe alert. Bruce Wayne's plot to gun down Joe Chill is a total violation of everything that Batman stands for. It seems Christopher Nolan wasn't aware of Batman's deeply ingrained aversion to firearms. Where would such an aversion come from? Well, how about the early childhood trauma of seeing his parents get shot? In other words, assassination by firearms isn't something that any version of Bruce Wayne would have done. 12-year-old, teenager, young adult. Finally, the back-breaking worst part of Batman Begins. Rachel Dawes is lame. I don't know how else to break it to you. Where do I start? How about if you're going to introduce a brand new character that had never existed in comic book lore, which is exactly what Nolan did, there has to be a really strong, compelling, unique reason to do so. If we're going to be superficial, and sometimes I am superficial, Katie Holmes is very middle of the road compared to someone like Kim Basinger from the original 1989 Batman. Where Kim looked like a supermodel, Katie looks like the girl next door. Which I understand she was meant to be, but do we really need to introduce a girl next door so that we have a girl next door?
Now, why would you do that? Why would you do that?
Sorry, Tom.
You're a jerk. You're a jerk.
Rachel's role as district attorney in the plot was pretty flat. I mean, any DA could have received evidence against a mob boss and used it to prosecute him. What if she had been Carmine Falcone's wife or mistress? That would have built in some inherent tension that would have made for far more interesting developments. Am I right?
Can I see? Finders keepers, and I found it in my garden.
The childhood friend dynamic makes things less exciting, less exotic, and doesn't come into play in any way. If she had used her familiarity with Bruce's childhood habits to deduce his identity, maybe that would have been something.
I never stopped thinking about you. About us.
Lastly, what's this melodramatic flip-flop at the end?
Then I found out about your mask.
His father would have been proud of him, she's proud of him, she wants to kiss him, but she doesn't want to date him. What you do defines you. And I guess what she does makes her an indecisive, inconsistent, poorly written character that Nolan figured would generate some interest in the sequel.
You haven't thought it through.
And that's my review from Big Bear, California. For me, Rachel Dawes and a few other things scuttled what could have been a perfect Batman origin story. But what did you think? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.